Hello, friends and fans of the podcast. Welcome to another day in our special place. Yes, in the Milky Way. You know, how many candy bars are named after things that are astronomical? The Milky Way, Mars bar. Anything else? Can you think of anything? Let me think. Big Dipper. That doesn't exist. Well, you know, it probably does somewhere in the world. You would think that like they would create something like some type of nougat or something where you have the candy bar, but you have to dip it into chocolate, or you have some type of peanut caramel mix, and then you dump it in chocolate, and you can call it the Big Dipper. But what do I know? I'm just a human who doesn't know much. So here I am. It was my 13-year anniversary recently. My wife gets me this gift. She says, you know, here's some money for your music fund and do what you want to do with it musically. That was her gift to me, and I thought that was really nice because, let's just face it, I do spend money on music-related items. So here I am. I'm going through Reason. I'm still using Reason as my DAW, right? Going through Reason, and I find this device, this plugin. Actually, it's not a plugin; it's a refill, and the demonstration that it shows on Reason on their website is like this. It has, I don't know, 50 different types of bass drums, 73 different types of different cymbal hits, all different types of drum hits, and whatever the case may be. Whether you want a snare or a tom hit, like 50 snares, 75 toms, 67 different types of hi-hats, and open, closed, and all this stuff. So here I am thinking, all right, I'm gonna get this because it has all the drum sets into an instrument which is called Kong, and they're already engineered. So like your bass drum might already have some reverb on it. It might already be equalized. So, and a lot of times when you use samples, you're getting just the hit. It's completely dry, and then you have to add all the engineering aspects to it. You want to add a little bit of EQ, maybe take a little bit off the low end, add some a little bit of delay, a little bit of reverb to kind of give it that sound that maybe you're playing drums in a room somewhere, maybe make it sound a little bit more live, whatever the case may be. All those presets, all that programming was done. It was on sale, so I buy it. I get it. I go into Reason. I click on it. It comes up, and it doesn't just automatically go to the preset that they said it would in the advertisement. So now I have to figure out how to use it. It just comes up where I can hit keys on my MIDI controller, and it plays hits. It plays the drums. Well, that's nice, but I like to program the drums. I like to get in there, get my fingers dirty, and get right in there and program one hit at a time so I have complete control. I need to see it. So I was confused. Anyways, I asked them to if I can have my money back. Now, let's see if Reason... I've been a customer of theirs for years, and lately I've just been so upset with their customer service. I'm big into, hey, I've been with you for like a decade. I've been buying your plugins. I've been continuing to upgrade when the new versions come out. I've been talking, well about your service and well about your program up until now. And I'm big on, hey, you've been with us for a long time. Let's see what we can do. That type of thing. A valued customer of years. And I'm close because I have to buy a new computer soon. I'm close to just buying a new computer and getting a new DAW, and then just having this one on the side with Reason and another one with that DAW, and then just kind of slowly migrating over to a new DAW, because I'm really not that happy with the way I'm treated by the Reason, like support staff. Lately, I've been asking them questions and stuff, and it's been a bumpy road trying to deal with them. And trying to be taken seriously, But hey, that's just how it goes. I honestly believe that, in life, no matter where you are, and just because these people are working for Reason, it doesn't necessarily mean this is what the Reason motto is. Oh, hey, this is how we treat all of our customers. I could have gotten 3 or 4 people who just really don't want to be bothered. They don't want to provide customer service, and I get it. Those pesky customers updating tickets saying, "Hey, that's not the question I was asking." Yep. But it's funny because I find that the more curious you act, the more people are going to treat you like you're ignorant. I've noticed that. I've met some really, really smart people who are like, they're inquisitive, they're curious. So they ask questions and they say, "What? Well, hold on, wait, what's that?" Right? But because of their curiosity, because they're so inquisitive, people think they don't know stuff. Oh, that guy's always asking questions. He must be an idiot. And I've seen that in life. People who are curious about things and who kind of want to get down to the nuts and bolts of certain things, sometimes are misunderstood and they're treated like they're completely ignorant. And oof, does that happen a lot? But that is not what today's episode is about. Today's episode is about reggae. It is about the band Rebelution, baby. And that's a good topic for Florida. There's you hear a lot of reggae down here, and that's nice. But before I get into that, happy Friday. Welcome to your Friday. Yes, your work week is coming to a close. You should embrace it. It only happens 14% of the time. So enjoy it while it is here. Now, is it just me, or when Friday comes along, do you run to the internet and look to see what movies you can stream? Am I turning into a big couch potato? Friday comes along and I'm like, what can I stream tonight? My wife and I have to watch a good movie. Many times we just end up watching the same shows that we're binge watching. It's almost daily for me. I think as my day comes to an end on almost a daily basis, I begin thinking what my wife and I are going to binge watch. I know this phase will end. It really will. I'm working on a lot of music, but between the music, the podcast, and my day job, one needs to really utilize the hours in the day the right way. And I've noticed that about myself. With everything that I have going on, I've been really trying to balance a lot of stuff. And I'm trying to give a lot of attention to my music. It's just not... it's hard. I'm tired of working alone with my music. I actually am tired of working alone. And so lately I've been really reaching out to other people. And that hasn't been as easy as I had thought it would be. So it's frustrating. But what did you ask? Did you just ask me what show I'm binge watching right now? Well, I'm going to tell you. I am watching or binge watching the show Arrow. Honestly, I love this show. It's semi-low budget. It's corny. It's quirky without actually trying to be. Some shows, like Angie Tribeca, right? They're so super quirky, but they're trying to be. No, the Arrow is quirky, and they don't realize it. But I must say something, and I've noticed this about these superhero shows, especially the DC comic superhero shows. They take place in some made-up city, like the Arrow, right? Takes place in Starling City. Batman takes place in Gotham. But, can I just say, if you had a choice to live in Gotham or to live in Starling City, would you even live there? Or like Central City, right? From The Flash. If you move to Gotham, or if you move to Starling City, you're an idiot. Every 3 episodes, The entire city is on lockdown due to some psycho in a mask poisoning the water supply, releasing criminals into the population, using earthquake machines, putting weird gas into the air so people all of a sudden start hallucinating and think their face is melting off. Think about it. You and your family live out in the middle of Nebraska. You have a perfect life, no problems. You look on the map, you know what? This place, Gotham, that looks pretty nice. Let's move there. And every 2 weeks, some psychopath is trying to kill the population of the city. Gas is into the streets. 3 weeks after that, some loser blows up the whole entire downtown area. 2 weeks after that, some other psycho, he releases rabid lions into the street. Now, how long would it take before you just look at your other half and say, yeah, we got to get the heck out of here? But no, people live in these cities. I'm watching The Arrow, right? Starling City. Do you have any idea how many times the entire population was in danger because of some psychopath? Move! Why would you live there? I don't know, but it's fictional. What do you want? But no, in these shows, there are hundreds and thousands of people living in these cities. I don't know. Would you want to live in a city where there was a zombie apocalypse every other Wednesday? I just find it interesting. But this is me psychoanalyzing. It's the same thing I did with Star Wars. It's the same thing I do with just about every show that I watch. I psychoanalyze it. But anyways, this show, The Arrow, is actually really good. It's quirky, but it's not bad quirky. And it's interesting in all the right places. You don't care that it's low budget because it's actually extremely entertaining. At some point, I'll probably do a review of this show. I like it a lot. My wife likes it. And we're both kind of like looking at each other like, oof, that was really quirky. Is it going to get more quirky? And that's what we're afraid of. Like as the seasons go on, it's just going to get like horribly quirky. But we'll see. I can do quirky, you know. But today's episode, Rebelution, baby. We've got a B Sharp and C Rebelution. Now, Rebelution is a reggae band, reggae dub. They had a very similar beginning to a lot of bands. Group of dudes from a similar area. It was a college town, Isla Vista, California. They played locally in the beginning and also released a self-produced EP. So I think it was by like 2006, 2007 they had formed. And they were different back then. A few members had left. One member, he was actually involved in a lot of the songwriting back then. He left the band because he didn't like the life on the road. And I get it. Oh, do I get it. And I'm not a roadie, okay? I'm not a roadie, and nor do I perform live, and nor do I travel, and perform live. I don't do any of that. But I remember my younger years when I was a party animal. And when you're young, and you say that life on the road is tough, I don't think it's like, I for some reason, I don't think that they're saying, it's just physically taxing. I had to wake up at 6, 3 days in a row, and I played all night. I honestly believe that it becomes a party atmosphere, and you look at yourself and you ask yourself, is this what I want? Is this what I want to do to my body and mind? A lot of people don't like that lifestyle. Lots of musicians walk away because they realize that, yes, I might be a party animal for the next 20 years, and that sounds fun, but maybe there's something else that I could be doing. I don't know, whatever the case is, and I don't know what this person's reason was, but he ended up leaving the band, and a couple other members left. Right now, there are 4 members who are currently with the band, and they're all kind of behind the front man, Eric Rachmani, who is just really talented. But it was in 2007 when they released a full album called Courage to Grow. Self-produced, reached number 4 on the Billboard. I'm going to start calling it the Broken Billboard. On the Broken Billboard Reggae album. So it peaked at 4. As an album, it peaked at 4 in 2007. Courage to Grow. Now, this is what we have so far. Courage to Grow, 2007. Bright Side of Life, 2009. Peace of Mind in 2012. Count Me In, 2014. Falling Into Place, 2016. Free Reign, Rein, 2018. And in 2021, that's right, COVID time, they released an album called In the Moment. And I will do a review of that album in a moment. I will do a review of In the Moment in a moment. But I'll save that for the end of the episode. Let's first talk about what turned me onto this band in the first place. One song. It's simple. Suffering. Yeah, the song Suffering. To me, it's perfect. In all respects, the effects on the percussion, the perfect 2/4 stabbing of the organ, the hook that you get with the horns, the drum fill just before he starts singing, just kind of like as you're listening to the song, you can really hear just insane attention to detail on everything. The synth in the background as he starts singing, everything. The effects on the guitar, the wah on the guitar, in between the verse and chorus, just the feel of the song. So I heard that song and I was like, whoa. I started to search them out. And what else do I have to say? They're really talented. It's a group of guys. Now, you're not going to get any guy that's going to completely like blow you off your feet as far as their ability to play an instrument. You aren't. You're not going to get that. There are some bands that I actually gravitate to because they have that. But then this band, to me, it was just the production of everything and the songwriting, the vocals and the effects on all the instruments. Just that real purposeful, engineering, I guess you could say, on every sound. It's almost like Pink Floyd meets reggae. So let me name a few songs for you, and then you can go to YouTube and check them out. Now, you might already be familiar with this band, and if you are, let me know if I do them any justice. But just go to YouTube or go wherever you go and listen to these songs. Safe and Sound by Rebelution. It's just got a nice feel. Our Way, the letter R, Way. Great use of hooks, great use of horns when the song starts singing. The bass all of a sudden stands out. It's just nice. It's a nice feel. Nightcrawler, just a nice feel all around. Bright Side of Life, nice horns, nice feel, nice beat. Lay My Claim, probably right up there with Suffering, one of my favorite songs from them. A nice synth hook, nice guitar playing, nice vocal melody. Now, I will admit, as I let Rebelution play in the background, there are more songs I don't truly identify with than songs I do identify with. And I think a lot of the listeners, from the feedback I've gotten, and I know that a lot of my friends, they know, a lot of people actually know what I tend to identify with. They know that I'm big into melody. I can put a Rebelution album on in the background and just relax. And every 3 or 4 songs, maybe every 4 or 5 songs, one will come on and I'll be like, ooh, hold the fort. I need to turn the volume up. Let me hear this. So that is kind of how I am with Rebelution. But when they do have a song like that I just have to hear this, it stands very far out. They're very good musicians. They have a very good vibe. But every now and then a song comes on from them and it's like, oof, don't talk. I got to hear this. That's not a negative thing. I'm kind of like that with almost every band I listen to. I'm very picky when it comes to music. And I think it's because melody is very important to me. If a melody begins to sound mundane or if I get sick of it, I begin to drift off. Or if a song is focusing on just the beat alone, I tend to drift off. Now, I'm learning to change. I'm trying to change. I don't want to be that person who's just focused on beats. I want to be a little bit more well-rounded. So at least I'm trying to change that. So you have a group of great guys. I've seen a bunch of interviews with Eric Rachmani. Wow, the dude is down to earth. You can tell he's really introspective. He's a deep thinker. You can tell he really has a deep appreciation for just for the deeper things of life. and I like that. And he went to college. I believe he actually studied, had religious studies when he was in college. And all the current members actually all graduated from college with degrees and all different things. You know what? Did they graduate from college with degrees? I don't remember, but I do know that all four members, all four current members, they all studied at the same university, and they, whether it was filmmaking or anthropology or religious studies, they were all involved in something. Now, these guys identify with reggae, and I think that they do it very well. The reggae community has embraced them. Their fans have embraced them. It's perfect music to just kind of... When I think of Rebelution, I think of like opening a nice, fruity flavored IPA, sitting at the beach and just chilling with the wife, listening to music. Now, call me old, if you want. I'm 45, so I guess I'm not a spring chicken anymore. But as far as musicality goes, these guys are awesome. And like I said, no one's going to sit there and blast you with a 4-minute guitar solo. But then again, who the heck is doing that? No one's really doing that. Well, Justin Johnson's doing that. But he's a future episode. But these guys, in Rebelution, they all click. They're all very good. Now, I want to address something that I have to address this. I absolutely have to address this. And I really don't care about PC. So I'm just going to come out and speak my heart, speak the way that I see it. And if you don't like it, you can shut it off. That's perfectly fine with me. A lot of people and I've heard criticism from people I know personally, and I've read it on their YouTube videos. These people are not roots reggae. It's white boy reggae. It's not real reggae. And okay. Mentally, I get what they're saying. I understand where the feelings are coming from. I get it. There's that expression, right? If it ain't from Kentucky, then it ain't bourbon. So I understand where this is from. But, at the same time, rock, pop, blues, jazz, hip-hop, disco, should I keep going? All of it started with African roots. And then don't even get me started on Latin music. Almost all of Latin music started with African roots. So I get the idea when people say, "Oh God, this isn't roots reggae." It's not Bob Marley. These guys aren't from Jamaica. But, I'm confused why so many apply this to reggae and not other forms of music. I find a lot more people are a little bit harsher with recent reggae artists than they are with other artists. And I've noticed that. And I don't know why that's the case. I understand that, reggae got its start in Jamaica, but look at where blues got its start. Does someone have to have that background? Right? Think about where blues got its start. Going way, 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 way back, even before jazz, it was sung by slaves. And they were just kind of making stuff up. And as years went by, it turned into something else. And then it's kind of weird because then jazz kind of came from that, and then blues came from jazz again. Blues kind of went in and out of jazz. It kind of like meshed with it for a while. But according to the research I've done recently, jazz started in like 1920, and that feeling of blues, that singing, that's even that scat type of just making stuff up and singing and kind of following a certain pattern came from before jazz. But yet, look at what has come from jazz and blues. Everything the Western world likes in music comes from jazz and blues. And I'm not even exaggerating. Rock and roll, heavy metal, pop, country. It is amazing what comes from blues. It is amazing what comes from the African roots. One thing that I find interesting, what was I reading recently? I was reading this article recently about heavy metal and how they incorporate portions of classical music with portions of jazz and blues. And I don't know if heavy metal musicians are aware of this, but they're kind of bridging the gap. They're taking what was a European, heavily, Anglo-based type of, or I should just say European, because it doesn't necessarily have to be. But I mean, like for instance, how many musicians or classical music musicians were from Germany, right? But I mean, they're all white. Let's just face it. They're all white. Now, a lot of that classical music, whether it came from Germany or whether it came from some other type of European background, that classical music is kind of like some underlying theme in heavy metal today, but so isn't jazz and blues, which is more of a black-based or an Afro-based type of music. So when you really stop and think about it, and I found this amazing. I wish I actually remembered the article I was reading, but I find this amazing how you take heavy metal and they're actually kind of merging those two. I wouldn't call them genres because it's not really a genre, but heavy metal kind of takes, let me see if I can word this correctly, something that is Anglo-Saxon, Victorian, Slavic, right? That whole area. Heavy metal takes that and kind of mixes it with blues and jazz. And it's kind of amazing that you have both. And I love when you see heavy metal today and they have a singer and it's a female singer. Mostly, I've noticed this with heavy metal bands that have a female singer. There tends to be more of an operatic kind of approach to the vocals than anything else. I mean, heck, even Iron Maiden, if you stop and look at the way Bruce Dickinson was singing, that was very operatic. And I think that as a band, they're a good example of how they mixed a lot of stuff together, maybe without even recognizing it. So I just think that that's interesting. But anyways, rant almost over. My point is that who cares? Who cares? If you like the song, you don't necessarily have to categorize it and say, well, it doesn't fit the stereotype that comes to mind when people think of this genre, And I think that a good example is the blues. A lot of those old-timer blues cats, whether it be B.B. King, Albert King, Muddy Waters, whoever it is, they really embraced people like Stevie Ray Vaughan, Eric Clapton, and I mean Joe Bonamassa, who is more of a modern blues artist. They embraced these younger cats because they recognized that they are now the face and the future of the legacy of the music. So a lot of these artists, whether it be people who are in Still Pulse or people who are from Jamaica or even Bob Marley, I know he's not alive today, but when they look at young artists, independent of where they're from or what color they are, and they're tickled pink that someone has embraced the music and they want to carry the torch on to the next generation. Trust me, it goes far. And I love the fact that the fans also, in great number, speak for themselves. So, why do I say the fans speak for themselves? Because 5 out of the first 6 albums from Rebelution reached number 1 on the Broken Billboard charts. Think about that. So that's the fans saying, yeah, this is great music. We like it. So the fans help them get there. So it's blaringly obvious the majority of the public recognizes the huge impact that Rebelution and their music is having. And it's also obvious that Rebelution is striking a beautiful chord with the public and lovers of reggae from all walks of life. Now, Let me just talk about their newest album, In the Moment. I honestly feel that the name In the Moment has kind of like a double meaning, and I read what Eric Rachmani had in mind when they came out with the title. You know, now this expression "in the moment" is popular. It's a popular usage. So I feel as though like living life in the moment. Don't fret too much about tomorrow. Don't kill yourself about the past. I like that, and it's good to live in the moment and kind of enjoy each day as much as you can to try to get the most out of life. And I understand that. But I almost feel like it's called In the Moment because in the moment, currently, they, as a band, wanted to try something a bit different. This album has songs where you don't hear that very identifiable 2/4 stabbing that you hear so oftenly in quaintly associated with reggae. Oftenly, is that a word? But that 2/4 stabbing that you often hear with reggae. A couple songs don't even have that. There are also more flares of like an acoustic feel. So it's not an acoustic album, but this album appears to get more raw. They stripped back a few layers of production, it seems, on this album, and then magnified other layers. Now, I like this approach. I do. It reminds me of like Dire Straits' first album. Dire Straits' first album had less production and more of a raw approach than their other albums, and I like that. But I need to say, although I think the music in this new album, In the Moment, has a really great vibe to it, it actually is not what Artie Astor, is immediately attracted to. And out of all the songs in the album, there's not one song that will make me say, "Oh, be quiet, guys. Give me just a few minutes. I need to turn up the volume." There's not one. Now, the music is good. It's a nice feel. For me, it's a little too far away from what turned me on to Rebelution in the first place. I also would say this, and don't hate me. I have used auto-tune or pitch correct in the past, and I've used it for a couple of reasons. When I use pitch correct, mostly it's because I'm a little flat on a note, and I want to bring the note into the correct pitch. So I do it in a way that I grab that one note, that one lyric. Sometimes it's even one syllable. And I adjust it slowly so the listener doesn't actually hear the difference. The listener doesn't go, "Woo, well, he used auto-tune there." I've used it myself, and I've even used it for like the Cher effect. In the late 90s, well, I think it was like 96 or 97. I forget exactly when it was. But Cher decided to keep the auto-tune in her song jacked all the way up. So in essence, it goes to like full effect the millisecond she starts singing. Auto-tune has parameters. You can make it so that it doesn't begin to correct your pitch for maybe like a couple milliseconds after the pitch starts, so it's a little bit less abrasive, a little bit more gradual. But she had the thing jacked all the way up. Now, I don't think that was her decision. I believe it was the producer who decided to just try it. But if I'm not mistaken, she said, "No, leave it. I actually kind of like the way that sounds." Now, that's an effect. And trust me, people use vocoders, people use other types of things that actually create some type of robotic or mechanical sound or effect to your voice that can contribute to the song. And trust me, that has been done for decades. I mean, even before auto-tune was invented, people have been adding sounds and effects to their voice for years. So I have a theory. If you want the Cher effect to be an effect, to add to the dynamics of a phrase or a particular lyric, that's nice. That is what Cher had done to her lyrics in, Life After Love, right? It was left there on purpose, and every vocalist understands that effects, to some degree, are used on their vocals. But I noticed a lot of auto-tune and pitch correct in this album with Rebelution, In the Moment, that come in at really raw moments where everything else is kind of dialed down, but his voice is dialed up. And then you hear the auto-tune, and you can hear the moment where it just jumps, where his voice is being grabbed and just yanked right into place. The listener hears it. And I do not believe that was put in there on purpose as an effect. I actually believe it was there to correct. But it was done in a way that the listener can easily identify it. I think that detracts from a song. Now, I have a theory. My theory is this: either go full share or go nowhere near. One or the other. If you have to correct a lyric that is flat, there are ways of doing it so the audience doesn't turn their head and say, "Whoa, what was that?" I couldn't really, I went online, I looked to see who was producing the album. One site said it was this guy named Calvin Valentine. I looked at like 10 other sites. I could not find a name for who produced the album. Look, here's the thing. I read like 8 reviews of this album. All of them are raving about it. So if you're a huge Rebelution fan, buy the album, listen to it. It is definitely lyrically just as beautiful and impactful as all the other albums. For Artie Astor, though, musically, the thing that turned me on to Rebelution is not in this new album. I appreciate this album. I like it. I'm looking forward to what they do next. I will listen to it in the background. I'm not going to crack open a beer, look at the stars out the window, think about the beach, whatever the case is, and listen to one of these songs and just drift off. There's not one song on this album that does for me what Suffering did for me. Now, does that mean it's a bad album? No. But let me give you an example of how it's so subjective. So, and if you're a fan of Rebelution and you think that I'm knocking on them, I get it. I get that you're probably thinking, well, my God, Artie's being a jerk. He needs to open his mind, whatever the case is. But then again, this is just my opinion. But listen to the album. Tell me if I'm wrong. There are a bunch of songs where his vocals are just really standing out. They're not mixed in with everything else. They kind of stand out. But then you hear very much the auto-tune. And to me, it detracts. It's like, why? I don't know. Was it done in a rush? But, okay, here's an example of how subjective things are and how things can change. On my episode about Stick Figure, I went on and on about his latest album, World on Fire, right? And I was like, dude, this is head and shoulders above everything else he did. This is the best album by Stick Figure. I can't believe it. There's all the other albums, and then there's this. Right now, that is not my favorite album by him. Not even by a long shot. My favorite album by him right now, after I have let the dust settle and really listened and absorbed more about him, is his album from 2015, Set in Stone. By far my favorite album by him. So things can change. I'm not going to hop on the Rebelution bandwagon here right now and say that this album is going to be groundbreaking. Now, right now, as of the beginning of September, when I'm recording this episode, it's number 8 on the Broken Billboard charts. Now, I don't know. I tried to get more information from Billboard. I actually went to their site. It makes me want to vomit. It makes me want to projectile vomit across the room and then drive to Billboard and just randomly punch a human in the face. What the heck? Go, do me a favor. Seriously, do this. Go to any search engine, right? Type in, I don't know, what's the number 1 reggae album on the Billboard charts? It's going to bring you to the Billboard website because they're paying probably millions of dollars or hundreds of thousands to Google so that if you say anything that rhymes with Billboard, it could be anything. You could say, my friend Will is bored. And next thing you know, up come 55,000 links to the Billboard charts. You click on any one of those sites, and the instant you begin to read any information, a million pop-ups come up. Then the whole entire page is like erased, and you can't proceed until you pay Billboard for some type of subscription so that you can read their charts. Billboard, here's a newsflash for you, okay? You're stupid. I don't know what you're doing, but that right there is proof that in the information age, information is impossible to find because money is driving all of these searches. Holy crap. I actually, ready for this? I did a test and I started searching for this. Why is the Billboard Hot 100 so hard to find? The first 15 sites, all links to Billboard. And then everything after that, just crap. You can't find anything anymore on Google because they've accepted so much money from so many people to put their site first that actual truth, actual unfiltered truth no longer exists on a search engine. So now I'm thinking maybe I should start using some other type of search engine. So I don't know. I swear, I'm going to go down in history, the 3 people that remember me after I'm dead. I'm going to go down in history as like the guy who absolutely hated what, big tech has done to society. Because what the heck? But anyways, rant over. Billboard is completely useless. I don't even know. Oh, I actually went to a forum. So when I was doing these searches, looking for like what's wrong with Billboard, trying to figure out like why can I not just find the basic Billboard charts? I got to this forum a few pages in. Like I clicked like page 7 on my search output, and I got to some forum, and the title was, "Is the Billboard chart? So are the Billboard charts broken?" And it was just one person after the next who experienced the same thing. And it's almost like, don't even go to Billboard. Go to the iTunes charts. Which interestingly, right now on iTunes, Rebelution is number 8. This new album is number 8, and Stick Figure is number 7. I forget which album. But I do believe Set in Stone in the public eye is more popular than World on Fire, which I think is interesting. But maybe that's why he didn't post it on his social media. I contacted them, the Stick Figure team, and I said that I did an episode about them, and some people posted on their social media, la-di-da-di-da, and they wrote back and said, well, listen to it and then decide. And they never posted it, and they probably were like, what's he talking about? This new album is better than the last one. Our last one was the most popular. But anyways, go listen to Rebelution. You're going to love their vibe. They're an awesome band, and I would not do this episode about them if I didn't think that they were absolutely awesome. Awesome. Rebelution is absolutely listen-worthy. And you have to listen to what these guys have done over the years. The last album is a definite mix for me. I'm not going to go running to the record store to spend $25 on the vinyl. But that's just me. Trust me, there's a lot of music out there from them. I believe this is their 7th studio album, 5 of which shot straight to the broken Billboard number 1. So, this is Artie Astor. If you want to get in contact with us, that's right, email and phone only. Welcome back to the 90s. I'm going to lose so many listeners because they're like, what the heck, man? I can't just go to, Facebook and say something. No, you can't. I'm not on Facebook. I didn't even deactivate my Facebook account. I canceled it. It's like going to get deleted. That and Instagram. And wow, I just feel so... it's hard to explain. It's hard to explain how I feel. And I had to go through hell. Because my Spotify account, and I'm a musician on Spotify. I'm on Spotify as an artist. My Spotify account was tied to my Facebook account. I had to send Spotify a photograph of me, like all this identification, all this proof, so I can get it changed to me. So I can actually control my Spotify artist page. Talk about a mess. But I feel great. Not even leaving. The thing that I don't like is that I was in touch with a lot of musicians on Messenger. And I don't know. I have their emails. They have my emails. I just think it'll be fine. I don't know. Call me what you will. Anyways, call us. Leave a voicemail if you want. 1-781-728-5974. Or you can email us at keepitgroovybaby@gmail.com. Or just go to artyastramusic.com. Everything's there. I believe the phone number, the email. Well, in my music, if you want to hear my music, rock out to some Artie Astor. Well, you're not going to rock out. It's pretty mellow stuff. But anywho, that's it. Until next time, this is your host, Artie Astor, saying, keep it groovy, baby.